Today we're going to take this Surly ice cream truck and convert it from a 2x10 to a single speed. You'd think it'd be pretty simple to go from a whole bunch of gears to a single gear, but it's a little more complicated. You got to remove the rear derailleur and shifter, front derailleur, if you have it, and the shifter. You then got to replace this with the single gear, have it spaced in the right spot. With this version of the ice cream truck, it has these MDS dropouts. So I'll be replacing this with the slotted one. And then up here, I'll be removing both of the chain rings and replacing it with that single one. These are the 5 things that you'll need to convert your ice cream truck over to a single speed. First, you need, if you have the MDS system, you'll need different dropouts. These are the slotted dropouts for 12mm through axles. If you have the newer ice cream truck, you actually don't need that. You have sliding dropouts already. You'll need a chain ring. This one is a 94 BCD. That's the distance between these bolts. 94, it's a 32 tooth. Here's the chain that I've used. This is a KMC Z610HX. This is a really popular single speed chain. I actually didn't order this color. I'm not sure why they sent it to me, but whatever, I'll take it. You'll need a cog. This is a 21 tooth, and it's the same. It's 3/32. That's to fit with this chain and with this chain ring. And then these are some spacers. You can get some different ones. These are very cheap on Amazon. These are just some different spacers that fit over the hub. And that way you can space the cog to wherever you need it to have the straightest chain line. So the first step is going to be to take these grips off and remove the shifters. I'm then going to cut the zip ties that are right here that are holding these cables on and pull those off. And then after I cut the chain, I'll take both derailleurs off. Your grip might be different, but most people have lock-ons. Mine uses a 2.5mm Allen wrench, and it has a lock or a screw on both sides. If you've got the original SRAM brakes, you will need a T25 driver. A lot of multi-tools will have this on there, but you'll need that to loosen this up. And once that's off, all you need is a 4mm Allen wrench. Alright, that single speed cockpit's coming together. It's just so clean. I haven't aligned the brakes or anything yet, but the brake levers. But now I'm just going to come down here and clip these little zip ties. So this chain actually has a link right here where if you push these 2 rollers or these 2 points together, it'll snap free. Alright, so what I've done is, this is an old pair of electrical pliers or crimpers. And so I basically just ground down the top part, and I also took some of the width or the thickness off. And that way, this actually works pretty well as a chain link pliers. There we go. So for the rear derailleur, we're just gonna use a 5mm hex wrench or Allen wrench, and I might need 2 hands for this. All right, so we're looking pretty good. Looks like a little dusty around where that clamp was. Luckily it left a little mark, so if you do want to go back to a 2x for some reason, then you know exactly where to put it up. But now we're gonna remove the rear wheel, and then we're gonna take, replace these MDS chips right there. They're attached with 2 of these are actually chainring bolts, so the same thing that are up here. 2 of those, and they use a 5mm wrench. These new dropouts actually come with their own bolts, so you can use those instead of the old ones. This one is the right side. You can actually tell because this is the derailleur hanger right here. These are the rack mounts, so that's just a way to remember, as the one with the extra big thing on it is for the driver's side. And when you mount these, you'll just want to put a little bit of grease right here and probably on the threads, just to keep it from creaking and from seizing up. So I've installed these. I got this right here, this one right here. The bolts are in. I haven't torqued them down yet. Surly's documentation says to torque them to 9 Newton meters. So that's about 80 inch-pounds if that's what you need to convert it to. I've got this little torque wrench right here. I didn't have one for the longest time and I kind of just went by feel, but sometimes it's nice to have. This was actually only 20 bucks at Harbor Freight, and it's been fine. It's Harbor Freight, so you probably have your own opinion on that, but it's worked great for me, and it goes up to 200 inch-pounds, so that's pretty good for most stuff that you're going to work on a bike. All right, now we're going to move on to the chain rings up front. So it's just these 5 bolts right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's the one on the back, and then there's I believe 5 more for that inner one. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 for that inner one as well. So to take the crank off, you just come over here. There's a bolt on each side of this. Loosen that. And you do have to take this little cap out first as well. All right, I got it all cleaned up on both sides. I'm gonna put a little bit of grease on here. This is just that same all-purpose grease, and then I'll slide it back in, clamp it down with the other crank, and then I can install the chainring right here. Now we're gonna take our chainring, our new one, slide it over. It'll go right here on this outer one, and then we'll bolt that on. If you don't have a chain whip, which is just a little tool that clamps onto here to be able to loosen this nut, then you can make one. This is what I've done. It's just a piece of wood with 2 little bolts, or these are actually some hanger bolt things that I screwed into it. And you just drop the chain on like that. Put it right here just to make sure I have about the right length. That should be pretty good. This is going to be pretty much this whole chain. I'm not even sure what this one's from. This was just in my parts bin. I just wrap it all the way around, put it over there like that, and then now you got a pretty good grip. Then you take your cassette tool right there, put it in. Oops. All right, so I got that off. It was way more work than I expected, but take that off, take the cassette off, and then we'll work on putting these spacers on and getting the new cog in about the right spot. So you take these rings, these little spacers, and you put them on here. Since I have this ring on the outer chainring spot, I'm going to put this slightly to the right of the center of there. Basically, if you were to look at the cassette, you'd want it to be in line with about your 6th gear from the inside. So we're gonna try that out and see how it looks. So I've got it on. It's a little bit to the outside. We're gonna check it and see how parallel. You basically want the chain to be parallel to the center of the bike. So we're gonna try this out. I'm not gonna tighten it that much. Just gonna put it right there, and then we'll put the chain on and see how that feels. Look at that. That's pretty much straight on. How parallel that is. You don't see the chain at a weird angle. So with this kind, you've got this right here. This goes through the back. Oops. Connects like that. You then take this plate right here, put it on, and then you've got this little like snap ring, although it's not so much a ring. Now we can adjust the chain tension and make sure that the wheel's straight, so the brake's not rubbing. And I actually do think I need to adjust my brake on this. All right, so here she is all done. I'm gonna take it for a little test ride. But I actually like that chain, even though I didn't order it. I like that color on it. Whew. Steep. I'm also way out of shape compared to the last time I rode Singlespeed. Pretty sure my rear brake is rubbing pretty bad, so that doesn't help. Doubt I'm making it up this. Nope. Definitely going to be spinning a lot on anything downhill, but that's okay. I'd rather be able to climb. I'm going 17 right now, just not pedaling. 16. This is 13 miles an hour is my cadence. 13 and a half is about. That's what the cadence looks like. Whew. It really is so fun though, just so simple, nothing to worry about. Going from the 2x10 to this dropped about 2.5 pounds. So it's now 29.75 pounds, I think. 29.75. It's a heavy bike. That was a great shakedown run. Didn't have any issues, except I think my back brake's rubbing a little bit, but I am really happy with this. I'm excited to ride it some more, especially once it gets into worse weather with more rain, a little more mud. It's nice to have something you don't have to maintain too much. See you next time.